Wow, thank you guys so much. You guys don't know how nerve-wracking it is to see yourself half naked dancing on the screen. But honestly, I truly appreciate each and every one here, and just it's such an honor to be here at the Pan African Film Festival on its 25th year. I mean, that's yeah, because I feel like I'm in the room of leaders and teachers, and being someone who is a student of the culture, I feel like I'm still growing and moving, and as a storyteller for this generation, to be able to tell the stories that Hollywood isn't telling, and to be able to talk about our culture in so many different aspects that, you know, we can do so much more than just slave movies and movies where we're killers and shooters and all those things. So to be able to tell a rich story that always comes from Africa, I mean, to be able to tell, to sprinkle in, you know, African fables and tales like Anansi, and see how they make their way all the way to the Caribbean, all the way to the States, and that the culture started and the music started in Africa, made their way to the Caribbean, all the way to the States. And we see people today. The purpose for making this film is that I had the opportunity to be in the music industry and have a record label, and to see that there's this Caribbean pop movement going on, that we see everyone from Justin Bieber to Ed Sheeran, Major Lazer doing amazing music, but they don't have the platform to show that this is where it comes from. All those dance moves you see Beyonce and Rihanna do, this is where it comes from. So to be able to be here today, and this is probably the most excited I've been about being in film festivals. I made this art film to get into film festivals, but to know that the Pan African Film Festival chose this film meant the world to me, because that's why I made the film. So I think we were going to take some questions.
We got a few questions,
sure.
So we can go out and eat some fried fish.
They got some beef patties out there too. I saw, yeah.
Fried fish.
Yeah.
Okay, over here. Questions?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
You know what? This was funny. I actually had the opportunity when I was writing the script. It was my first time to Kingston and had never really experienced the culture, and that's was like I was wondering, like, yo, I stepped foot in a dance hall and I saw all of this raw energy, this electric energy, and I was like, this needs to be on screen somewhere. Like I had never, we seen all these films of Step Up to Dirty Dancing, but we never seen this in the way in the States. So I was like, and like you said, you mentioned earlier, from, you know, Harder They Come to, you know, Dancehall Queen. These are films that, you know, our culture has seen, but maybe not have been shared so much. So I was like, I wanted to find a story like in The Harder They Come that tapped into the entire culture. So what I actually did, I talked to many different people, and I had the opportunity to speak to everyone from Beanie Man, who is, you know, known as one of the kings of the dance hall, all the way to, you know, the current king of the dance hall, Vibes Cartel. And I talked to a lot of the dancers. All those dancers you saw in this film were actually, that's them. You know what I mean? All Ratty Rich, that's his real name, and Killer Bean, that's his real, like, those weren't characters. So I tapped into their stories, and some of that stuff gets so dark and so, you know, like, I didn't really want to go too deep into it. So what I did, I was able to create a fictitious storyline, but a lot of this stuff happened. There was a lot of real strong, powerful dance hall dancers who lost their life, you know, leaving a dance hall. And it was because of some inner turmoil that was going on in the community. And so I just took those stories that people shared with me personally and cultivated the story of Tarzan Brixton.
Hey. So W.E.B. Du Bois talks about how all art is propaganda. And that you
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for being here. So I'm really impressed, and I think a lot of us didn't, you know, the image we get of Nick Cannon is not the one that uses art as propaganda to uplift his people, but when we're here and we're watching this film and we're witnessing the work that you do around the world as well, I think we have a different image. So can you just comment on that quote, art being propaganda, and how you use art to empower Black people, to empower our people?
And again, thank you for quoting Du Bois also. I appreciate that. That's someone, man. Actually, I was on CNN last night, and I quoted Du Bois too because as of lately, I've been studying Du Bois. I've been studying Woodson. I've been having the opportunity because now, not that this is a byproduct of that, but now because I attend Howard University, AHU, I didn't just go there to get my American education. I went there to get my African education as well and understand my culture. But so to that point, I was also taught, when you speak of propaganda and rhetoric, and there's a lot of it going on now. You gotta understand what resonates in your soul. And I feel as storytellers, as artists, it's our duty to speak up and speak for society, especially during a time where there's so much division, there's so much negative propaganda, and not to get too deep into it, but when we are born into a system that wasn't designed for us to win, we need to show ourselves as kings. We need to show ourselves as royalty, and I feel like that's what the Pan-African Film Festival has done for 25 years, and hopefully will go on to do for 25 more, and 25 more after that, and 25 more after that. So, people will be here for the hundredth. But honestly, I do feel as not only am I a student of Du Bois, but I'm also a student of Paul Robeson, a student of, and actually had the opportunity to sit with great mentors like, Harry Belafonte. And he told me personally, he's like, I'm passing the torch to you. And as a storyteller, he asked me a question one time that really resonated with my soul. He said, what are you? He said, I see you on TV. I see you hosting the show and you do it well. I heard your songs, I heard them. He's like, you ain't got nothing on me though. I was the first person to ever go platinum. I was the first person to ever sell 1 million records. I was like, Dayo, I turn up. But he said, what are you? And he said, you're an artist. You have a responsibility as an artist to hold that mirror up to society and to tell the truth. So that's what we do.
Good evening. Thank you, sir, for the wonderful, wonderful film
Thank you, King.
that you made. As an old filmmaker myself, and those of us that want to become like you and do things as grandiose as you've done, how long did it take you to make the film? What kind of avenues did you have to go through to put it together and give your finances? Because that's a very important part of making film.
Absolutely, and thank you for the question, and thank you for all the sweet things that you're saying. But I tell my kids is, don't be like me, be better than me, because there's the opportunities that this generation has now when it comes to filmmaking is everything's at your fingertips. I mean, because camera equipment, all these things, it's not as expensive as it once was. But this film right here, because it was a passion project, was self-financed. I financed it myself, every dollar that we put into this, and it was because I believed in it as an artist, and I believed it was a story that needed to be told. So honestly, I think that's where it starts. As artists, we got to invest in other artists. We got to invest in ourselves, and we got to invest in our community. So, and then from that point on, it was a lot of hard work with a lot of hard-working Jamaicans. And they made this film happen. I mean, honestly, we were in Kingston, and it was run and gun, and it was really as raw as you see it in all its beauty that it was. That's what it was. Like, it was hundreds of people on the set at a time, night and day, 16 to 20 hour days. All of those dancers, those are real crews, and having our choreographer, Jay Blades, organize everybody and everyone get, all the time everybody didn't get along. This crew really didn't get along with this crew, and so we actually really worked hard, and everybody understood it was for the culture, and everybody said it was for the passion. So I couldn't have done this without such a great cast and a great crew. So I'm forever indebted to them.
One more.
And we have. Of course, before that, I have to acknowledge that we have, not only was she in the movie and she was phenomenal, she was actually the muse for this movie. She played Kadeen, but she's not as mean as that character at all. She is quite sweet, and my muse for this film, Miss Kreesha Turner. Please stand up. And when I say she was the muse for the film, the way this whole thing came about is not only is she a phenomenal actress and dancer, as we saw, but she's a phenomenal recording artist as well. That Canadian Jamaican that makes dancehall and pop rhythmic songs that we work together. And we had the song. I think the song that you actually saw her perform in the battle or before the battle was "Sexy Girl," and it featured T.O.K., who is some dancehall legends. And when we made the song, I had never been to Jamaica before. I had never had any experience, and it was her. She was like, "Yo, you can't really bebop this life if you ain't never been to a dance hall." And I was like, "All right," so we hopped on a plane. Well, well, you come tell I thought that's how it went down, but we actually had the opportunity to go and promote this record, and this young lady actually brought me to the world. So I appreciate you guys. Keep it going for Kreesha Turner.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I know you guys say good night here, but in Jamaica we say good evening, and everybody replies good evening. So let me try one more time. Good evening. Good evening. Thank you. So listen, I know we was about to start telling the story, but yes, exactly. You started it off right. As a proud Canadian Jamaican, I am an ambassador for my culture. I rep it to the fullest because in Canada, we are all first generations. We are all from somewhere. We are all still connected to our foundation. So I grew up proud of my Jamaican heritage. And the moment I found out that he had never been to Jamaica, I said that it was absolutely unacceptable, especially a man who is in the music industry. I consider Jamaica to be one of the most musically influential nations that has touched the globe in so many ways, shapes, and forms.
True.
So if you're in music, you should at least go to Jamaica one time. So yeah.
True that.
Took him to Jamaica.
And like I said, she was the muse from that point on, and from that time that we touched down, I was like, we got to tell this story, and she was quite helpful the entire process. So I thank you for that, and you did a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
You can get all those songs on iTunes that she's in right now. All the music today.
They're all there. On iTunes.
Kreesha Turner.
Lessons. Thank you, everybody.
We've got time for one more question, and then we're going to do a different thing by thanking all the sponsors, then we're going to go and hang out in the back.
One last question, the pressure. She was really anxious. We'll get both of y'all, you, and then we done. Ooh, what's my budget? I'm still spending money. Ask me in a couple weeks. Actually, this was a film that was definitely, I actually couldn't even answer, but I know personally on my own money, it was definitely over $1 million. So somewhere in that realm. But, there's other things that, as you transition from the way we made it to now, how I want the entire world to be able to see it, there's other things that you have to do in post. People don't know. People think that the money that you put in the front of the movie to actually make the movie is where all the money goes. Post is the most expensive part of making a film. When you want to do it properly, when you want to operate to where your film can be seen on this level, everything from audio mixing to coloring to graphics, all of that stuff is what it really does. So be as honest with you as I possibly can. I'm still getting money.
Wait, there's another question.
That was her. She came over here. Yeah.
First of all, I'm a documentary filmmaker, so I love the aspect of documentary.
Thank you.
But my real question is piggyback off of that is about distribution. You mentioned that you were putting it in film festivals. When are you expecting to release? How are you expecting to release? Where are you expecting to release?
That is such a great question. Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Yes, and thank you for acknowledging the fact that I did want to do something totally unique and different and mix the worlds of documentary and narrative storytelling. I mean, I borrow from a lot of people that I love as filmmakers. And that was one of those things where I was like, I hadn't seen that done too often. I'm a huge fan of documentaries as well, so I wanted to tell the true story. I wanted people to learn about the dancehall culture when they saw this film, not just to get it's a great, cute love story, but people needed to know, you know, the caste systems and the class rating and why these people are so passionate about their dance and why it means so much and why it's so powerful for my culture that comes all the way from Africa. The interesting thing that you mentioned is that it was all about spreading that message, and not only did I do it as a film, but I did a novelization, and the book will be out as well with St. Martin Publishing. So, and I get even more detail of the story when the King of the Dancehall book will be released this year as well. So that's one form to where, you know, I wanted this to be a real story in a sense to where people just like, oh, that's just another dance movie. I wanted this to be a cultural movie, and because that you said that, I wanted the entire world to be able to see it. So my distribution process, because I have had so many offers and so many traditional ways of, like, you know, big studios offering, but I made a deal with YouTube and YouTube Red. So because I wanted everyone around the world to be able to see this film. I wanted the people in Jamaica to be able to see this film. I wanted people in other third world countries who may not have movie theaters and that type of that. Now that everybody will be able to see it, because I wanted to be innovative. This is I consider myself a next level thinker, and to be able to release films digitally and on your phone and on your computer, I feel like that's the next wave, and that's how we'll be viewing all movies in the future. And to say that I'm one of the front runners in this process in delivering films that way. So you'll be able to see this film on YouTube in days now, shortly. YouTube Red.
Let's thank Brother Nick Cannon.
Thank you so much. Bless you.
Before we go, we gotta pay some bills, so we waited till the end and thank all the sponsors. So let's thank Nick again.
So you need me to pay the bills, or we good? You got that.
And also, don't forget, this is the first of